Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are tearing into the dialogue from, honestly, one of the most highly anticipated pieces of media this year. We're going to look really closely at the raw, heavy, and just incredibly dense spoken text from that brand new Avengers Doomsday trailer. Together, we'll do a deep textual analysis to uncover exactly how this narrative builds such a massive sense of dread and anticipation using just a handful of carefully chosen words. So let's get right into it.
Something's coming. Something we may not be able to deter. Notice how instantly that just pulls you in? By starting with this cold open, the speaker immediately establishes this incredibly cinematic sense of impending doom, right? There's no triumphant music here, no victorious rallying cry to kick things off. It's this quiet, heavy, almost hushed admission of vulnerability that completely hooks us from literally the very first second.
Okay, let's dive into this. This brings us to our first thematic pillar, the unthinkable threat, which sets an immediate tone of vulnerability and dread.
To understand how they build this dread, you just have to look at the specific phrasing here. Before this day is done, we shall be faced with an unthinkable decision. The word unthinkable is doing so much heavy lifting in this sentence. It's not just, a difficult choice or a hard battle ahead. It's a moral weight so impossible that the human mind literally shrinks away from it. And that ticking clock, before this day is done, well, that compresses that impossible, world-ending pressure into an immediate, totally suffocating time frame.
From there, the speaker masterfully shifts tactics. We move into our second theme, Echoes of Fallen Warriors, which invokes the ghosts of battles past to elevate the current stakes to astronomical levels. Now, what's really interesting here is the sheer, terrifying math of this stark contrast. On one side, we have past warriors, individuals explicitly described as being far stronger than everyone currently present put together. And the grim reality? They died. Then, on the other side, we have the current threat. The speaker openly admits that the enemies who killed those incredibly strong past warriors scare them far less than the one they're facing right now. It's crazy. This clearly, perfectly illustrates the absolute impossible odds standing right in front of our heroes.
But the speaker doesn't just let us wallow in that despair. Listen to how the tone and the energy completely shift right here. Everything that they sacrificed will be for nothing if we do not stand together. It's a brilliant rhetorical pivot. They use the very memory of those fallen heroes, the ultimate sacrifices already made, to basically snap the listeners right out of their paralysis. It transforms absolute terror into a desperate, loud, and totally immediate call to action.
And that urgent call to action transitions us perfectly into our third theme, Forged in Fire Together, moving from dark past reflections into a very harsh reality.
So the crucial point is exactly what those survival steps actually entail. The speaker lays out these highly specific demands: stand together, put aside petty squabbles, presume nothing, return as brothers and sisters. Notice how ending petty squabbles isn't framed as some nice corporate team-building exercise. It is literally framed as a matter of life and death. If they don't unite on a fundamental familial level, as brothers and sisters, they're already dead.
But even if they execute every single step perfectly, it still might not be enough. Which brings us to our fourth and final theme, an impossible miracle, where strategy completely runs out, leaving nothing but sheer desperation.
But mark my words, we're going to need a miracle. This single line is just devastating. It completely strips away any remaining hope you might derive from physical strength or tactical planning or even teamwork. They've done the math, they've set the ground rules, and the final, inescapable conclusion is that they have absolutely nothing left but a desperate plea for blind, inexplicable luck.
And this brilliantly illustrates the massive gap between expectation and reality. When we look at the standard definition of a miracle, it's defined as a surprising and welcome event, right? Something outside of natural laws, often considered a divine intervention. But when you contrast that deeply hopeful definition with the incredibly grim, grounded, and terrifying reality we've just deconstructed, it kind of makes you wonder what kind of twisted shape a miracle might actually take when things are this dark. So let's see how this builds up to the most pivotal moment in the entire trailer. What actually happens when the requested miracle arrives, but it manifests in a completely unthinkable form? This question is the vital bridge right into the trailer's massive, reality-shattering climax. I mean, they asked for something impossible to save them, and the universe actually answered.
Hey, pal, just think about the sheer whiplash of that moment. We've just spent this entire explainer swimming in incredibly dense, heavy, formal tension. We are literally bracing for the end of the world here, and the tension is completely instantly shattered by two casual, almost friendly words. The juxtaposition is absolutely shocking. It's not possible. The delivery of this reaction is just pure, stunning disbelief. The speaker asked for a miracle, something inexplicable by natural laws, and they got it. But looking at the source of that voice, it's so clear that the speaker's absolute worst fears and their desperate plea for a miracle have just violently collided in the exact same room.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question. If the impossible has just become reality, does this twisted miracle actually bring salvation? Or is the face of their so-called miracle actually the true arrival of Doomsday? The stakes literally could not be higher. The unthinkable decision is finally here. The echoes of the past have caught up to them, and absolutely everything hangs in the balance. I don't know about you, but I'm so desperate to uncover the truth of how this impossible reality unfolds in theaters. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your eyes open, and we'll catch you next time.